Welcome everybody to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, and behind us here we have some fresh 24 updates on the Surveyor 202RBLE. Yeah, you know me. This is a very popular floor plan that a lot of different builders make, and they all do some other things very, very well, but I gotta give Surveyor some credit. They are coming in lighter weight with a lot of what I think are more influential, big impact kind of features for less weight and less money than a lot of the other builders making a layout like this, like a 60 by 80 True Queen bed, a taller ceiling, and a non-radius shower that's going to give you a little bit more elbow room, not to mention the headroom since it's taller. It is easy cleaning and pet friendly since it's completely carpetless, and they give you a choice between 3 different seating arrangements in this. So you have, today we're looking at the theater seat with lagoon table, but you can get a hide-a-bed with lagoon table, or dinette. If you want, you know, just a normal 2-bench dinette that people gather around, you can get something like that in this one too. But it always includes that little elevated breakfast bar. I think I'd personally go with one of the sofas myself, but I'd love to hear what you would prefer on this one. They are using Asdel in the sidewalls. They've bulked up their solar package. It's like 250% better than it was last year, which is fantastic to hear. The underbelly, they've also standardized what was an optional weather package now, so you've got radiant barrier through the belly and holding tank heaters, all now factory standard instead of optional, which I think is very, very cool on these. They've also bulked up on their peace of mind for towing factors. We've got factory TPMS, but now Goodyear Endurance radials to give you a little bit more peace of mind. And this thing's only about 5,000 pounds empty, fully max loaded about 7,500 pounds. That is a excellent qualifier for like late model tow package, half-ton towability. You're going to be able to jerk this thing around all over the place and be comfortable doing it. It's not so big that it's hard to park. Tandem axles giving you peace of mind. This is a really good camper, in my opinion.
And it's not like they reinvented the wheel with this floor plan or anything like that. They just took a very popular layout, applied their spin to it, and I think applied an awesome amount of consumer input and things that people are really looking for, things that really, I think, move the needle, for lack of a better way of saying it. And they've executed this very nicely. First of all, for those who were familiar with Surveyor last year, or just looking at it right now, what do you think of the decor? Because they only do the one decor, and for the most part, it's just light and bright. They definitely went with like a hard saddle brown accent kind of color pattern. And I will also tell you, the camera that I use is often not friendly to things in that color family, but overall, I think it's doing a fairly decent job of representing here. But if you're not sure, I do recommend trying to get to see one of these in person sometimes, because it will make a difference. Now, a couple of cool things here. We are easy cleaning and pet friendly. No floor vents. There are, cabinet side ducted heat vents and a central vacuum system with a little toe kick electric dustpan down there. Makes keeping this sucker clean pretty darn easy. Now, one of the things I really like to focus on with Surveyor is the way that they give you swaptions and choice in their floor plans. Most manufacturers, they say either, nope, this is the seating that we use, or maybe they'll give you one option. You have your choice between a 2-bench dinette with table in the middle, or a theater seat with the lagoon table that we're looking at today that is either cuddle compliant or population controlling with a drop-down armrest that we'll see later, or you can get a hide-a-bed that also includes a lagoon table. So, kind of keep that in mind. Something else I want to point out, this RV, as we go through it, especially once I start cracking open all the storage, it's got some great storage capacity for a little camper, and you can actually pack it full. Like, it has over 2,000 pounds of available cargo carry capacity. That's more than I see out of some luxury fifth wheels down here at a small, lightweight, potentially half-ton friendly kind of camper, which I think is great. Now, the cutting board backsplash that they had the last couple years, they tweaked it a little bit, so it is now the perfect size to fit for the farm sink cover, and it's countertop flush. That right there was a 3,000 IQ move. That was somebody using their dipstick, Jimmy. They had their thinking caps on that day. Because I like it anytime in a camper when one thing does 2 things and it becomes very functional, because especially in a small space like this, it makes a big difference. Around the bed, you'll see household and USB outlets, which is fantastic. You've got the little bedside stands, that's all well and good, but you may also notice there's these little headboard power pocket cutaway kind of spaces here. There's also, they gave us like 3 layers of this. You've got the upper little knick-knack shelf. That is actually like a little drink cup holder, and you see there's a little eyelet, that little black circle on the right that's cut into there with some open space down below it. It's either kind of pseudo hidden storage, But there's also household outlets down there in the very bottom, and you could feed a power cord up top through that little eyelet if you wanted to. Oh, one other major important factor here, the bed size. This is a true queen bed. That is not the Shorty McShortpants Bed Goblin Union approved camp queen that you often find in so many RVs. Now, if I'm standing here looking at the TV, it looks fine, but I want to do a better job of representing this for you, so I'm actually going to kind of slide back here, put my backside, sit down in this theater seat, and give you a look around. The TV is definitely up high, but it is also not obstructing the window coverage on this, and this is a style of floor plan that is not well known for giving us good campsite window coverage. So I think they've actually addressed and tackled that a little bit. And if you're wondering what that black thing is sitting above the stovetop, that's actually a bracket where that little sink cover cutting board can be mounted. If I remember, I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. Now, sitting here, it is easier to see all of the kitchen outlets. You've got two under the overhead cabinet, and then you've got some household and USB plugs over here on that little elevated serving station. And I like these. Personally, I really like this, especially in a more couples-focused model like this. It potentially, for some people, circumvents the need for a dining table and chair, which allows us to maintain the comfy sofa seating that we're looking at today, while still giving us a place to sit down and grab a bite to eat. Now, the cabinets are interesting because when you open them up, they feel very see-through, but when you close them, not so much. It's almost like a one-way tint on this, and it has a little bit of a horizontal reeded sort of effect ingrained into it. So it does help break up the visual eye pattern of it. I don't mind it. I kind of like it, but I think that that's one of those things you really need to see in person to decide how you feel on it. And along with the lighter colors and the carpetless kind of making it look bigger to the naked eye, it actually is. These are 6'9" tall inside, which is something I really like. Because as a taller person, I like the bigger cabinets. I like the taller shower. And it does mean if you're a little bit more, we'll say, gravity friendly, that some of the upper cabinets might be tricky for you to reach. I get that. But, you know, that's all kinds of different things that you may want to kind of consider over time. I'll get that open back there, but big pantry on that rear wall, which I do like. And that is a 12-volt compressor fridge over there in the corner, a little bit over 10 cubic foot in cold storage capacity. We've had this thing plugged in for like 30 minutes, and it's already ice flipping cold. I actually put my organ donor box in there, which I use as a lunch box that you may have seen in some of my videos. And it is doing a fantastic job of keeping everything on ice in this sucker. Now, diving into some deeper details here, let's start with this theater seating setup. So once again, it includes that handy lagoon table, which can pivot around, although obviously, as you see, it can also totally disconnect. Both of those recliners are basically like wall huggers, so you can really kind of slide back, take a little midday snooze. The blackout shades is another upgrade that they put in here. That's something new in store for 24 that they didn't have in the 23 season. That's a thing that I really like. Kind of like the storage under the bed. They've revamped and tweaked that a little bit. I've heard that they might tweak it up a little bit more, but overall they're pretty happy with where it's going. Just to make, you don't have to lift the bed every time you want to get to all of the bed storage. Sometimes having a couple drawers come to you is awful nice. I like how they segmented it, but they still left a couple really tall chunks. Like you've got like a Crocs, socks, and undies drawer or two, and still have room for like big stuff like griddles that maybe you don't use every day. Like overall, it made a lot of sense to me. But again, that's just sort of my 2 cents. I'm actually enjoying something. I've got it turned off currently just to drown out the noise for the video. But I'm enjoying the fact that we're plugged in, which I don't normally have the luxury of, and that is a larger 15,000 BTU air conditioner. And I felt like I was breathing icicles. All I'm going to say is that if I'd have flipped this camera around in selfie mode and you'd have taken a look at the front of my shirt, well, you'd have thought the turkey was done. That's all I'm going to say. Weaving our way around here. Ooh, I like the fact that the bedroom door actually locks. Nice little privacy moment there. The space around the toilet, it's a little tight. It's tight for left and right-handers. Especially with that, the butt napkin roller kind of mount right there on the left side of the screen. I don't know if you're supposed to hold on to that in case you're having a hard time or what the case might be, but it sort of feels a little bit in the way. But that's kind of I feel badly for manufacturers because it seems like no matter where they install something, someone's going to say it's in the wrong spot and they did a bad job and they should feel, it's like you did bad and you should feel bad. Well, if they don't install it and they leave it loose, then people don't see it and they think the manufacturer is being cheap. So it's like a no-win situation for a manufacturer. I don't know what to tell them in that regard. Rectangular shower, though, in the bathroom instead of the common radius shower that you historically have very commonly found in this floor plan. That is a nice little feature. And the 6'9" ceiling means there's some awesome headroom in there. That's something that I really like. Now, I'm operating from a little bit of memory, but crap, I recorded this one not too long ago, too, in the 23 version. I think the bed gets hard to get to in road mode. Let's find out. Yeah, that's about what I remember. With that full depth, like 3-foot deep slide and the peninsula counter giving us the dining and the sink station, it gets awful tight right there. Now, if you're super careful, you could tiptoe your way between there and get up to the bed. Now, if you just need to get into the camper to pack stuff up, one of the cool things about this is they are running a rack and pinion slide, which can be deployed partially and not screw it up. So if you just want to crack it open a little bit to get up to the bed, you can do that. Now, if it's raining, I don't recommend leaving it that way any longer than you possibly can. And I don't recommend sitting in and occupying the slide while it's retracted because it's not tested for that. It might be capable, but I can't promise you that. So I just want to warn you. I just kind of keyed into the fact that they accent colored the slide ceiling. I've never seen a manufacturer do that. What do you think about that?
And I mentioned when this video began, I think it's a great candidate for some half-ton towing. I still feel that way, even though the video's rolled on a little bit now. Not only just because of the weight, like 5,000 pounds empty, awesome. I do really recommend, though, when you're pairing up a tow vehicle, you want to check your GVW of the trailer, meaning fully max loaded with cargo against your tow capacity. And make sure that you've got minimum 7,500 pound tow rating, and anything above that, the happier you're going to be, which, again, a lot of tow package half tons are going to qualify for very comfortably. Because, 5,000 pounds empty is great, but you go loading it up with cargo, put some water in the tanks, that could be a problem. Speaking of water stuff, they've swapped over to a tankless on-demand water heater now, which I think is very cool. Previously, they did have a gas and electric variety. I'd be kind of curious to know, do you think that's a step forward, sideways, or backward? Leave me a comment, let me know. The yellow antenna up there next to that battery disconnect, which is red and green, what that's doing for us is that is the relay for our tire pressure monitoring. So that, actively while you're going down the road, sorry about that, the low battery warning kicked over here on my camera, which pirates my recording session and ends it for me. So thank you very much, Mr. Camera. Anyway, I was getting at factory TPMS, so when you're going down the road, you can make sure your tires are not overheating or losing air pressure or underinflated, which are all very good situations to end up with a flat tire beside the road. Although the Goodyear tires, better tires than they had last year, a little more peace of mind there, but that doesn't, some people think Goodyear tires are suddenly magically bulletproof. You as the owner still need to keep an eye on your PSI. You still need to make sure that they're properly inflated, not overheating, things like that, Driving too fast and underinflating a tire are the two primary reasons towable RV tires have failures. It's actually not even debris on the road. So sometimes it's just a situation of doing it correctly, and the more you know. Speaking of the more you know, did you know that they are using Asdel in these? If you're not familiar with Asdel, it's a composite. It takes the place of wood paneling in the laminated sidewall sandwich, the lamwich, if you will. I don't know if you were or not, but if you will. And it's a little bit lighter, a little more peace of mind. It also happens to drown out a little bit more noise from the outside. Now, you've got a big front pass-through baggage door on this side, a little bit smaller on the other one, but they put the biggest awning on this little camper they possibly could, and I respect that. I've seen much, much larger RVs with smaller awnings, so I'm going to give them credit where it's due. Kind of like this. That peninsula countertop, there's a chunk of it on the inside that was just awkward to try to get into, so they opened it up to the outside area with this handy little griddle and fridge station. Now, the little sink down there, it is the dog dish flip-away sink, but it literally only exists because the stovetop they made slide off to the side, so that if you do want to get, griddle, if you want to get into that fridge, you don't have to reach over a hot griddle cooking surface and get splattered by bacon grease on the bottom side of your arms. So You know, it's not a real sink, but nor could it be, but at least they did a thing. And again, speaking of things they did, based on your feedback, they said, you know what, people want Goodyear tires, give them Goodyear tires. People want better solar, give them better solar. Last year they had 80 watts of solar on the roof. They now have 200, and they have upgraded significantly on their charge controller. So if you want to expand on that a little bit further, you could. Now, last year they had a built-on ladder rated for 250 pounds. Now they are prepped and ready for a telescopic removable ladder. It's not included, but if you do choose to get one, it doesn't require any sort of tools to install. It just hooks onto that bracket up top there, gets you up to that fully walkable roof, and it is 330 pound rated. So I got a question for you. Was that a step forward, backward, or just a step sideways? So let me know what you think about this one. Where did they nail it? Where did they fail it? Like, I mentioned some things like maybe a privacy curtain for the front bed, but you know, it is at the end of the day a model that's really designed for, you know, couples more exclusively. So I guess I kind of get the open design too, but that's just my 2 cents. Check the links in the video description or scan this QR code with your phone off your TV. If you're curious to check for pricing and or availability, whether you're curious or whether you're serious, that'll always give you pricing not just at the time that I happen to record this, but any time after this video publishes. Will always give you current and accurate pricing that way without needing to call and give us your blood type and your social security number. Now, if you'd prefer a more private bedroom, maybe check the links in the description. If I remember, I'll try to do that. I'll leave you a link for like the 252 Surveyor, which actually has a private bedroom, slightly bigger, but it gives you that privacy maybe that you're looking for. Or if you want to save on the weight, you want to save on the length, you can get one of these. And if it's only 1 or 2 of you, maybe you don't need all that. I don't know. That's camping, man. Different for everybody. So, I'm getting blinded by the light over here. Not only is it bright up top, but I'm getting blinded off the concrete. And in case you're wondering why I'm blinking weird, that's why. So, I'm going to wrap this up. Take care. Stay safe. Have fun. And happy camping, everyone.